All right. So for part two of our writing episode, we're gonna do some rapid fire fun, I think, questions on writing, just about like, yeah, what we like, don't like, how we approach it, that kind of stuff. And what is the best first question? Well, how do you like to write? What's your like setup? How do you
If I had it all my way, I like to write by myself, like at late at night or first thing in the morning. If I'm writing late at night, I like to have a couple of cocktails in me, some bourbon.
Mm.
I do write much better if I'm a little buzzed, to be honest.
You've said that. I've never tried. I've always wanted to try, but I end up like I don't end up writing. That's for sure. But I've never really like sat down with like that intention as like I'm trying to write and just give myself a glass of whatever kind of thing. I should try
I think
that.
maybe it's just my personality too, right? Like I'm
Mm.
pretty low key and pretty quiet, right? But then I'm not always that way. And so I don't know, I just maybe just have a little more energy, a little more spice to
Oh,
my,
that's interesting.
you know?
I thought of it as like because I always wonder if it just get me out of my head, like the hang up. I have such a hang up with starting on the blank page of it like not
Right.
coming out, whatever. So by yourself late at night, early in the morning. I like I don't really like I don't like the physical practice of writing very much, to be quite
Mm.
honest. But I like obviously writing a story. My favorite way, one of my favorite ways is when I'm driving,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a kind of long open road drive or whatever. Music is a big inspiration for things or whatever, and then I voice memo to myself and then I'll clean that up. I prefer early in the morning. I like writing before the outside world has interrupted my thought with anything kind of thing. Like I do need a certain kind of like I could be driving for 30 minutes before I get into like thinking about the thing and writing. Like I have to really kind of
Yeah.
quiet my mind. Maybe this is why the driving, because this also happens on airplanes. Like some of my best ideas or like best scenes or character moments or whatever when I'm on a plane where there's like nowhere else I need to be, nothing else I really want to do. I don't want to step
Mhm.
over everyone to go to the bathroom. And I'm either watching a movie or listening to music. And yeah, I just kind of like wax poetic. That's how most of my writing
That's
will
interesting.
get done.
It's like a different version of me having a couple of drinks, right? Of just like
Yeah.
something that's like a little bit different than your day-to-day sort of moment to moment life,
Yeah.
right? Just in a bit of a different headspace.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super helpful.
Yeah, and I've been gotten very much into I haven't tested it in a screenwriting software yet, but like voice transcription has gotten very good.
I
And
use
that's
it
been
too,
a
yeah.
huge help in me getting to almost anything. Like I would rather just like word vomit it in transcription and then I clean it up is how I do
Well, I'll go
80
one
to
better.
90% of my writing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did that with this one that sort of just all came sort of really fast when I was out on walks, and I
Mhm.
wasn't recording it, I was just thinking it through. But that one was really hard to start to get down on paper because I'm like, I know the whole thing, so I'm not discovering anything as I'm writing. It just feels like, "Oh
Right.
god, I gotta, like, write it all out." I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I think maybe that's part of it for me is it spends so time percolating in my head that it feels like my fingers can't type fast. Like it's not just
Yes.
typing it exactly as I know it is in my head kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so it
Mhm.
almost feels disappointing because just constantly work before the thing.
Yeah.
So I guess outline first or discover as you go. Do you have a preference either way?
I discover as I go in my head. I do like discover as I go. I think at some point I like to at least jot down maybe even on a piece of paper like an outline and sort of look
Yeah.
at it that way. But I do prefer to like write as I'm figuring it out for the reasons we were just talking about. It's like if you're ahead of it, writing just becomes like a slog.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of discover as you go too, but I will say that there's certain it's like I kind of have it's like the thing in my head is a pre-outline kind of thing.
Mm,
Like I haven't committed it to paper or it's not like the outline doesn't have to answer everything before I will then go to script, but it's just like
mhm.
oh, it's just to help see what's missing. Sometimes it can be useful
Yes.
for that, but yeah, discover as I go. Okay, is there a rule you always break or a rule you think people should never break when it comes to writing?
I don't think I've written enough to say there's a rule I always break. I just don't know if that's true. I really think plot is overrated. I don't
Yeah.
get hung up too much on plot, and I think, yeah, if that's the most controversial thing I would probably say is people assign too much importance to plot.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I mean, I'm biased. I like character driven things a lot, but I was on a panel and Sherry White said it too, which is like, if you can emotionally hook me, which to me comes from characters, right? Like, even if you have the plot of this really extreme situation, it's how the character is going to navigate through that. If you can emotionally hook me, yeah, I'll follow you through anything, right? Like a good character will
Mhm.
thing. I think there's definitely to a school of filmmaking where plot supersedes that character, and a lot of the time that's what filmmaking will be lost on me. The kind of
Yeah.
importance of it, or like, and then this, and then like, if for me,
Or if every scene that they're all having is advancing the plot, and it's very much like A, B, C, D, E, like all these plot points
yeah,
in this particular order, whereas it's like, we can just be in this sort of mindset. This is where our like the heads of our characters are at. Then they're going to be in this headset, then this headset, and then by the end they'll be over here. I mean, obviously there's a story, so yes, there's plot, but it's not so meticulous. And then you get to just like have those characters be with each other, like you're saying. Then it becomes character driven. It is all motivated by what they want and their desires and all the rest of it, but it isn't sort of like, and now we have to run over here and do this thing. And now we have to run over here and do this thing. And there's going to be some like banter, but like nothing real is happening. And anyway,
yeah, and
what that piece.
I'm very curious actually about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey when that comes out, because Oppenheimer, I appreciate all of the things he's done in cinema, and a lot of his work is so widely loved. It's not typically my bag, but I can appreciate and respect some of his achievements. And I think he did Interstellar, or am I mixing that up with Gravity? He did Gravity. I don't
Nope.
know, the one wherever there's or was it? Is it it? There's one
Oh,
where
he might have done Interstellar. Now I have to find out.
there's some, I don't know, the shot people always talk about where he actually got a whole cornfield planted so that they could get the drive up shot and that kind of thing or whatever. Like,
That is
listen,
Interstellar.
that's cool. However, Oppenheimer was really disappointing to me, and I think it's largely because it was about a whole bunch of facts and figures that don't really mean anything to me in the grand scheme of it, and it was so driven by that, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the character stuff felt secondary. So I'm very curious about the Odyssey. But yeah, I would agree with that note that, plot is overrated.
Yeah. And you're right. He did do Interstellar.
Interstellar, yeah. Okay, a couple more. Scene you love writing most, dialogue or action? I think I know this answer.
I do love both, but love dialogue, right? I love two people really getting into it.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought you were gonna say action scenes. I feel like you write really great action scenes.
When I'm
Uh,
inspired to do them, I really do like them. Thank you for saying that, by the way. I really
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
I don't write them very often though, but I do really like a good action scene for sure.
Yeah. I definitely love dialogue. I love it's just so very rich. How many ways can you say the same thing? And like, it's the personification of each character, right? So it feels like a different layer baked into the script every time finding the voice of a different dialogue person. And I think I'm just so funny. And so I get to work
Right.
out all of my jokes. And I mean, yeah, and so many times I'm writing through characters to a certain degree too, right? There's always a character in the world that is me, that is reflecting how I would feel about the thing and that stuff. So
And it really does definitely come through. Like even when we're watching stuff together or talking about stuff that we've watched, like you really do want to embody the character. I would never do that, or that character would never do that. Like you're so invested, like in a very like
I want them to
intimate
feel,
way.
yes, I do it where it's like, even if it's not me, I gotta believe
Mhm.
this is a real person or what have you.
Yeah.
That actually leads me to the worst note you've ever got. Do you remember? Fair enough if you don't have an answer for this. I have one. This is why I'm picking the question.
Okay, you go first. I'll see if I can
Worst
remember.
note I ever got was, "Me and my mom are nothing like this." In response to someone had read a script, and like their biggest note was that the mother-daughter relationship was nothing like them and their mom. And so they couldn't really
Yeah.
thing. And it was like, that's not a note. I don't think it was not supposed to be you and your mom kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
That is wild. I do remember that. I know what that was. Mine isn't an
No, I
actual
lied.
note.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I have another one after. You go.
Mine isn't a note. It's the preambles, just like here's a bad pitch, but from anybody that isn't actually a writer on the thing. I don't want your ideas. Just tell me what's wrong with my ideas and I will fix them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other one I was gonna say is, have you read Save the Cat? That was the other note. Which, like, again, listen, if what you're actually trying to say, and to the degree which is like, I mean, that's hilarious for so many reasons. But if what you're
Yes.
trying to say is like the structure is off here, whatever, that's the no, right? That the
Well, this
structure
is what I'm
seems to fall
saying.
apart somewhere around here, whatever. Have you read Save the Cat is not a note, and not a note that's gonna stop me from wanting to end this Zoom.
Yes,
So
1000%. I mean,
that's the thing. It's like you can give bad like harsh feedback or critique or say that you don't see the thing or whatever, right? Like, but to say, yeah, have you read? So does it not structurally feel like an episode to you, or is something like what is missing here? Anyways,
I mean, that is, it's got to be like the Hall of Fame. I mean, that is
yeah,
just the worst on so many levels, right? It's just like,
yeah.
yeah, wild, wild. That was crazy. Yeah.
What's a writing habit you're trying to quit, or do you have one?
The writing habit I'm trying to quit is to not power through, like to abandon stuff. Stuff that I really like want to write and I have bits and pieces of it and I'm not like doing the connective stuff that needs to obviously happen and just giving up. Not giving up, but like avoiding shit. I don't like doing that. I like to the stuff. So
Yes. Habit I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to not write under duress only is the habit, which is like not only because to me things getting made are deadlines, right? Are what do motivate my writing schedule. And so just trying to not have it only be deadline oriented, I think.
yeah.
I also am trying to I use the phrase I mean a lot in dialogue where like and I say that all the time. And so I think it's my own I'm always mindful of that. That's a habit I'm trying to break. Okay, what's a cliche, like a writing cliche or a story cliche that you secretly love?
Happy endings.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Of a good happy ending. I mean, I don't know, this is a specific cliche, but just like tropes of stuff. I love a well-earned enemies to lovers kind of dynamic. I love like, you know, the punchy sidekick in the bad guy movie who's like, you know, really the philosopher kind of thing. I love that.
Yeah.
Happy endings too. I mean, yeah, like Seth Rogen said, I'm a sucker for a bookend. I do love a good bookend.
Yes.
I think it really is
Very
the
true.
thing.
And
I'm
also the like the unlikely couple, right? Like the
yes.
yeah. I'm a sucker for like a good romance where it's not, you know,
Yes.
cut and dry, but it all works out.
You know which cliche I'm a sucker for? And I have to keep this in mind. We could make 1,000,500 bajillion shows about shows, and I will watch every single one of them.
Yes.
I will never not be tickled when they talk about sides and the call sheet and the whatever. Like, I don't know if it's just because but I always say it's like I grew up as an E True Hollywood kid. So I feel like I've always been watching versions of it. Like I've always loved the what's happening behind the scenes kind of
behind the
version
music
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't can't tire of that clearly. There's not a single one I think that has come out that I have not. I mean, they've all been done pretty well, but I love them all. Like truthfully.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's a good one.
Okay, how do you know when a script is done? How many
When
drafts?
it's 90 pages.
I know, truly.
When it's done, I would say when I have finished it, I've printed it out, I've done paper edits, and then yeah, I've made those edits and I've read it like maybe 2 other times and I'm just tweaking it.
Yeah.
And then I would say it's probably not, that is when it's first done. And then when I read it again in 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's holds up or I'm like, eesh.
Yeah.
But for that first thing of just like, this is when I'm going to stop working on this for a while. When I'm like, it's definitely when you've finished it and then, yeah, paper edit and then doing all that. How about you?
I kind of, yeah, like, I mean, jokingly, but truthfully, like, once it hits the 90 page, like, if I haven't finished the story, obviously keep going, but once it hits that kind of threshold, to me, that's the first draft done. And then when it's done, like, I'm not gonna, is when I've read through it and you've read through it and there's no major plot holes or big bumps or something like that, right? At least to me, that's when it feels done at the stage where it can go out for notes, and then it's more about like, oh, this scene here should be bigger, or this scene, I think when it feels like nothing is missing. When I read it and it doesn't feel like I'm missing anything. There's still dials to be turned left or right. There might still need to be, this could go up here technically or what have you, but does it convey the full breadth of the story, the full journey of the character? Does it have an ending to, I think with I often work between, like, I have my beginning where they're trying to end and then I figure out the middle kind of thing. And so if it feels like the ending tees up satisfactorily, I think that'd be it. Was like, so yeah, like a solid ending and it feels like nothing is missing. Right. I mean, things can be changed, but it's not like, oh, well, she sees no struggle throughout this entire thing, or like there's nothing to, or whatever, or like it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. There was something, I mean, just to talk about, like, there was, in Girls Like Us, there was a scene where, for one of the characters, it's like, oh, I would like to know more about the dynamic between these two characters. And so, like, we beefed it up a little bit. And there's still a lot of room that we could beef it up even more, but we're not going to add other plot points in, right? Like, the scenes that are between those two characters, we might flesh them out more. They might reveal more of their dynamic, like, to satisfy, which is a note that is very, like, legitimate. But that's sort of like, to me, I don't sweat that stuff. And I think, like, what you're saying too, of like, things might get moved around, might get, like, beefed up, but, like, you're not rearranging the story or adding more big moving pieces into it. That's sort of when you're like, yeah, we're working with this script.
Yeah. I think actually, to circle back to that question of the thing that I secretly wish I wrote, more of the things I wish I wrote are in TV than they are in film. So not screenplays so much as episodes. And I mean, there's a handful of them for sure, but I definitely think in classics like Living Single, or more recently even Mara Brockett Kills Like Forever, is really so well done. But the two kind of like holy grails for me, where I watched it, no, I lied, there's three, where I watched it and I was specifically like jealous of just how thing, which is Fleabag, right? Like that, like anytime a show has that many familiar ingredients, but just it's the writing and the way that they've written this character, whatever, that is making it punch out more. I mean, there's just so many lines and moments and things from Fleabag that are just like, oh, what a fucking killer way to like reveal that, to blow that, to share that, to let us know that about that character kind of thing.
Yeah.
Succession, because Succession and Veep are equal. I just love shows that are that, and like it's just so funny and so cutting and so thing. And then most recently, The Diplomat. The Diplomat is a show that I've watched, and like I think directing and writing, sometimes it can be hard for that to stand out outside of other stuff when a show overall is working so well, when everything is firing on all cylinders. For the writing of things to really pluck out, right? Or for direction to really pluck out above everything else can be difficult to discern what it is. But like, having watched that show for 3 seasons now, what I'm the biggest fan of, everything else is really good, but it is the writing, the way that they reveal things, how they shape the cliffhangers in that show. I'm always so impressed by. And again, in a world that has so many familiar elements that like we've seen this show before. We've seen all of these ingredients show up in things before, but I really am at the end of every episode like, no, I have to. And I think getting that feeling out of viewers, it's very rare to still be able to get that from people in this day and age.
Totally agree. And it's very rare to like have your third season be your best season, right? Like, I mean, I think it sometimes takes shows a little while to get on their feet, but like for that season to be as good as it was, it's just super impressive. But you were totally right. Like that is the writing on that show is stellar.
Are there any...
Veep is also such a great reference. The thing about Veep, kind of like, I don't wish I'm not envious about writing The Good Place, but there's something about those shows where they're just so fucking dense.
Yeah.
With like, those are really, really dense scripts, and the absurdity that lands, right? Like being able to sort of just say, oh, this is like, we are untethered. Like this is the opposite of grounded, right?
Yeah.
Like but it is still going to feel grounded in like the right ways. Yeah, I mean, so impressive and just like hilarious.
Yeah.
So
So
funny.
impressive. So hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the light is fading in my house.
It
So
is actually.
no better time to call it. But yeah, this was rapid fire writing. Any other specific writing questions you have, let us know. And we'll
Yeah.
talk soon. Bye.
All right.